Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John, and I'm the event coordinator here at McNally Robinson Booksellers. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge, of course, that we are here in Treaty 1 territory, and the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Niniwak, Anishinaabe, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. In addition, McNally Robinson Booksellers itself rests on the land once occupied by the Métis community of Brewstertown. Thank you all so very much for joining us here on this beautiful day to celebrate this new book, A Little Camper Love, written and illustrated by Rayna Meakin. It's always a particular pleasure to celebrate these books here in the space, but it's a particular pleasure when the book is a debut, as this is. We have featured Rayna's work here in the store before. She contributed beautiful illustrations to Caitlin Fitt's best-selling book, Planted, back in 2017. But it's a real pleasure to have her here today to celebrate such an incredibly unique and beautifully illustrated new book. So you'll be hearing a little bit more about that in just a moment. I would like to express my gratitude to Heritage House Publishing right out of the gate for publishing this book and for making this afternoon a reality. I won't take up too much of your time. I will just let you know I will be back at the end to review signing procedures, so stand by for that exciting moment. But if you are a child and would like to sit down on the floor, you are very welcome to do so. But if you are comfortable in your seats, you are very welcome to stay there as well. For now, I have the pleasure of calling up an expert in all things Rayna Meakin. Of course, that is her longtime friend and early years education specialist, Jennifer Nelson. Please welcome her.
Specialist. Wow, I didn't realize I was a specialist. His voice is a lot more soothing than mine, but you're like a radio. You could be on the radio. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for all joining us and celebrating this exciting occasion and official launch of A Little Camper Love, written and not only written, but illustrated by Rayna Meakin. Let's give her a round of applause again. Today, we're not only here to just celebrate the release of her book, but we're also here to honor the journey of creativity, originality, and the passion that brought this book to life. So it's a real honor to be here. I know in conversation, I heard a lot of people saying this is actually my first book launch. Hands up if this is your first book launch. Okay, so there's lots of you in the audience, which is great. So it's a real honor to be here surrounded by book lovers, adventurers at heart, and those who believe in the power of a good picture book. It's my pleasure to introduce this truly special picture book, A Little Camper Love, a story that is heartwarming as it is whimsical. This cheerful book captures the quirky charm of a vintage camper van, those beloved eggs on wheels as we refer to them, and pairs them with a message that is deeply meaningful. This message being that every one of us is unique, every one of us is lovable, and worthy of kind words. And Rayna just does that with this picture book. As an educator myself, I can't emphasize the importance of having this social emotional learning in classrooms. It's something that as a kid wasn't really talked about much in our own classrooms, but now we really see the value of it in classrooms with kids. And it's something that I really value as an educator. So this book will definitely be in my classroom and in my library for students as well. As mentioned before, I said, sorry, hang on. In a world that sometimes can feel a little overwhelming, A Little Camper Love, written by Rayna, reminds children of their self-worth and that it doesn't just necessarily depend on fitting in, but on recognizing and celebrating our uniqueness. We all have our own little superpowers and uniqueness, and it's something that we should really honor and value. Rayna's creativity not only shines through the delivery of her book's message, but the creativity that you see in her illustrations with her book. These are all original watercolor paintings, and you'll see right here. We'll talk a little bit more about it in the discussion with the when we kind of ask questions about it, and she'll kind of get more into the detail of what inspired her with those pictures. A Little Camper Love features a different camper van receiving a heartfelt compliment from a friendly bird, which is a simple yet beautiful way to model how we build each other up with kindness. It promotes not only self-confidence, but also positive relationships within ourselves, which is something that is so important in establishing and building communities. And she does this in her book. Whether you're taking this book on a family camping trip or sharing it during story time at home, or like myself, sharing it in the classroom, it's the kind of book that leaves you with a heartwarm message and a little extra love to pass along. So today, we welcome A Little Camper Love, a story that celebrates individuality, kindness, and the adventures we take with us both on the road and, more importantly, within ourselves. So at this time, Rayna and I will just be sitting here, and I'm going to guide her with some questions to kind of give you a little bit of insight as to why she decided to write this book and the inspiration behind the book. And then for those of you that if there's other questions that you have, we'll pass around the mic later on, and then that way you guys can have opportunity to ask your own questions to Rayna as well, if you do choose so. Okay, all right.
Shuffle in some more seats.
Oh yes, you guys can come in. It's my family showing up late. Thank you. All right, so first question, Rayna, to you is, what inspired you to combine vintage camper vans with the message of love and affirmation?
So 4 years ago, I asked my sister Caitlin to spend the day with me on my birthday and write this book. Sorry. No.
Emotions are part of it. It's good. It's good for people to see it.
So I brought over a few sketches of campers to help with the inspiration. And we sat at her kitchen table in her Wolseley apartment, and she just typed away as I rambled, and we threw down ideas. And yeah, the sketches, I hadn't sketched or drawn campers before, but I thought it would help with the inspiration. Some of them had like wide set eyes and a giant smile because I wasn't sure which way the story would go. So the first text that I had written, was Bob the Bowler, "You are strong and clever." And I had this picture of this, bowler getting pulled up the mountainside with a, cleverly attached bicycle. And I wasn't sure, how to make that a story. I knew I wanted, really positive words and say nice things about campers. But then I came up with the idea that each page could be its own compliment. And I just fell in love with the idea that this is a collection of compliments, and it's awesome. Yeah.
Do you have, so with this story, do you have personal connections with camper vans or camping trips of your own that influenced the story, and why you decided to write a story about
yes,
camper vans?
so growing up, we went camping a lot, and we loved it. We had so much fun camping, fishing, and my family had a pop-up style trailer. Very vintage, hilarious pop-up trailer. That
And you said it was purchased in what year? Was it a 1977?
well, that's our Surfside.
Oh, okay. So
So
it's not that.
my parents' camper, what year was? Oh, 75. They're close in age. I'm surprised. So but it was a pop-up style, so it was always quite stressful. When you're gonna get this, you arrive and then you've got to get it up, and then even leaving, you've got to get it down. Like, will it go down? Line it up perfect, right? But I loved the idea when of these fiberglass campers that you roll up, you're ready to go fishing. So I was excited when I found one for sale, and my family picked up the 1977 Surfside, and then my kids just loved anything to do with the camper, and we made lots of Stella did lots of quilts for it, and we renovated it. They loved anything to do with it, and of course camping in it too. Even last year at Folk Festival, we took it and we kind of shuffled kids in and out of the festival, but I camped the whole weekend. And even Arlo, it was like the hottest night, and the wind was not flowing through, And I said to him, like, do you want to go to Bob and Papa's? They're only 20 minutes away, like sleep in some air conditioning, we can go. And he, no, Mom, I want to stay here. Like, we love it.
So going back to the camper van that you had as a family, it wouldn't be this camper van, would it? Is that the one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. So we often say, because you're a master at giving compliments to trailers in your story, that's what it's all about. If you were to think of a compliment to give this camper here, what compliment would you give this camper?
Did it have a name, Mom and Dad?
Yeah.
Maybe Old Red. I would say, Old Red, you have a heart of gold.
And why would you say that?
Because it's just
It has a heart.
so good.
Next question is, was there a specific moment or idea that sparked the creation of this book?
I seem to have a lot of creative projects on the go at any given time. I just see something and think I can make that. I like making things. So I was explaining about our surf side that we got and how much the kids loved it. So that's what sparked the idea for me. I'd read a lot of kids books, a lot of wonderful children's books, and it was just one of the things that I thought I could make that. And they're so, like, everybody just loves campers. Why do we? There's lots of reasons, but they're so aesthetic and hip, and so I thought I could try to write a children's book.
And the experiences we experience, right?
And so, and to further tell you about how much our kids love our camper, Stella used to say, I just feel so good. She used to say, I just feel so good in here, like good vibes, and you could really tell. And so the page to our own camper in the book is the last page, and it's 1977 Surfside. You say, I feel at peace when I'm with you.
Yeah, that's awesome. The book delivers
one more thing.
Yes, of course.
So I also, what sparked the idea, even originally, even before I had the idea of compliments, the book written, was I really wanted to showcase that they were made here in Manitoba, that history aspect. I thought that was so cool that, just to showcase, because our city has such a rich history in creativity and production. So I wanted to showcase that too.
That's great. The book delivers powerful messages about self-worth and kindness throughout the book, whether it be, and we'll kind of get into that with the characters of it. Why do you think these themes are so important in children's literature today?
Well, kindness goes a long way, and a compliment from the heart can brighten anybody's day. Everybody is worthy of love, and everyone is wonderful in their own unique way.
I have a sign in my classroom that says kindness is contagious too. So when one person's kind, it's like we pass that kindness around, which in the book, we'll talk about the bird does that, right?
Yeah, and I was hoping, that a little camper love can be used, as a script for children to use those words.
Sure. How do you hope readers will feel after reading this book?
Well, I think that they might want to buy themselves a vintage fiberglass camper.
Did you hear that, parents?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And Rayna was going to ask, has anyone in the audience ever owned, right? We were talking about, in conversation, we're like, oh, it'd be interesting. Like, has anyone in the audience ever owned a bowler or camper van? Okay, yeah, so we see lots of people owning them as well. When Rayna first told me about this book, I really did see the value because of the social emotional learning that's attached to all of this in children's literature. Often when I'm planning in my own classroom, literature is a way of guiding conversation with students. It's a way of presenting important material that is so valuable in life with kindness and compliments. What role do you think your book will help to develop emotional intelligence with children?
Well, I hope that the book can help foster self-awareness, children seeing within themselves these traits that have been given to campers, the kindness and positivity. I hope that kids will realize the positive cascade that these kind words can have, just leading to better experiences and better in their social situations and in their communities. Yeah.
Do you have any advice that you would give to teachers or parents or aunts and uncles, not that you have to have kids, for that matter, to encourage self-love and awareness, or kindness, I should say?
I would say celebrate uniqueness. Everybody is wonderful, and everyone is deserving of love. Everyone is wonderful and unique in their own way.
Mm-hmm. It's always trying to fit in, and it's like not about fitting in, it's about being your authentic self, right?
Yeah. And then the camper theme just, fits right in. No two are alike,
For sure. Each camper has its own unique personality in the story. How did you decide what compliment to give each camper?
So first came the compliments. Caitlin and I had brainstormed a whole list of compliments, and then came the illustrations. And so I wanted to illustrate in sort of a pun, but a play on words, but through illustration, to cause the reader to look deeper into the simple pictures. For example, in Dude the Bowler, knowing you is a treat. And on this page, you see like a bowler with a vintage chair and freshly foraged mushrooms. And mushrooms aren't a typical treat, but to me and my family, mushrooms are a treat. To know anybody who can forage for mushrooms is a treat. It's a great Canadian pastime. Another example is in this page, Honey the Bowler, you have excellent taste. And this line I was kind of channeling, thinking from the owner of the Times Changed Pine Lonesome Club in Winnipeg. When he introduces the band, he says, "You're all good people and you have excellent taste in music." And I just find it very cute because you sit there thinking, well, I do have, thank you, I do have excellent taste. That's such a nice compliment. And so in this illustration, I bring in the music with the Folk Fest, recognizable Folk Fest sign. You can see the stage names. Hot dog, which is not a typical sign of having excellent taste, but they do taste excellent. And among other things, fishing, banjo, book, and things that sort of show excellent taste.
Throughout A Little Camper Lab, a bird travels to each of the campers. Can you tell us more about the bird character and your inspiration as to why would you have a bird as a character in your story?
So I wanted to play on the fact that these are known as eggs on wheels, these types of bowler and vintage fiberglass campers. So my original idea was to, maybe make an egg around the page number. But then I had the idea that each page, the compliment could be given by a little bird and kind of play that into the story. I had been drawing birds of my chickens from my sister's farm, and I just had this style where I would just do a little swoop with, 2 eyes and legs, and it was just so simple, but they turned out really cute. So I thought I'd bring that in. And in the book, some of the birds are just that little sweep with dots for eyes. Some of them are more detailed. For example, on this page, You Make the Day Feel Like a Dance, these 2 Western grebes, a particular bird that they have a courtship dance. And yeah, right.
For sure. Were the camper vans based on real models of campers, or is it something that you had imagined on your own?
So yeah, these are quite specific models of campers that are sort of Instagram friends. Many people who get vintage fiberglass campers nowadays lovingly name their camper and post pictures of their trips and renovations, and it's just the hip thing to do is give your camper a name. So I asked permission from each of the campers featured in the book to use their names. They were excited about the story ideas, and yeah.
What was your favorite part in creating this book? If you were to think of your favorite part.
It was fun to do a collaboration with my sister and just see what we could do. She's a writer, but I'm not. but I just like to dabble, and I guess, yeah, so that was wonderful. It's been wonderful just seeing it all come together in a, you know, meaningful and aesthetic, like I really like, you know, good design kind of way. And just being a role model for my kids as well there. I just think it's kind of cool.
So you go from being a dental hygienist in your time to being an author. What were some challenges that you faced during the writing process? This is something that in the classroom you try to get kids to inspire them to write, but it can be a challenge at times if it's not natural to you. So how do you, what were some challenges you faced during that time while writing the book?
The biggest challenge, I guess, was just having time and also space. My workspace was our kitchen counters, and it took up a lot of time and space because these illustrations are very layered. So, you know, you do one swoop of paint and then you let it dry, but it can't be almost dry. It has to be perfectly dry. Otherwise your, you know, dots for eyes are gonna start to grow. So it took a lot of time, just everything laying flat out on all the kitchen table island surface. And then I'd collect it all up, you know, put it on a shelf. Anyway, yeah, so that was quite a challenge, just finding the space and then the time to do it. But I was sort of driven at the time by it. I didn't do this over a long span of time. I just dove into it till it was done.
Do you have any plans for more books in the future in terms of the style or similar themes that you're using, or more adventures with the bird with camper vans?
I do have some ideas in the works. I would love to continue to work with Heritage House. I like the idea of, you know, having these meaningful book that showcases Manitoba history. So I do have an idea, so maybe I can't say it.
So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Well, I just want to start by conclude by congratulating you on your amazing book.
Thank you.
Your dedication and passion is truly inspiring to us all. I'm so excited to get my own copy, have it in my classroom, and really guide lessons around the social emotional and kindness as well. So big congratulations to you. You have a room full of people that love and care about you, and congratulations on your book.
Thank you. Thank you so much to me to see you all here. So amazing. You've really brightened my, let's say day, but like my everyday for a long time. I'd like to acknowledge the hours and hours of work that my sister Caitlin had put into this project. She's just an amazing editor. She helped me work with the artwork and digitize the artwork and design. I'm still asking her to do things remotely, like, you know, website stuff, and she just does so much for me. I'd like to thank my publisher as well, Heritage House. They're very busy, and they're very successful at what they do. They're great at what they do, just showcasing Canadian history. I think it's just in such creative ways. You know, it's not just children's books. It's a lot of books, and it's just really cool what they do. I'd like to thank my family and everybody here. And Jen Nelson. To know you is to love you.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate you doing this with me.
Of course, it was my pleasure.
And
so if there's anyone that has questions, we do have a mic that goes around. Here he is, here with his wonderful soothing voice. Is there anyone with questions? Okay, so I guess as for the book signing, we will get into that.
Absolutely. So we will move along to the book signing right now. So there'll be one moment of glorious chaos while people attempt to get in line just right down here. We do have a sumptuously illustrated hardcover version and a paperback version available, as well as some camper-related swag as well. So please do avail yourself of those when you come up here. Feel free to get your book signed before you pay for it. All we ask is that you please do visit the cash desk before you leave the store. We'd really appreciate that. Thank you. We're so very grateful to Heritage House for publishing this beautiful book. So very grateful to Jen Nelson for leading us through the conversation, and of course to Rayna Meakin. The one thing I will point out about the signing is is I will come down the line and write your name on a Post-it note. This is not because we think that Rayna has suddenly forgotten who you are. It's just the unusual thing about a book launch is people from every aspect of your life can suddenly be in a room together and you can forget the name of your best friend because you're trying to keep everything in your head. So please do just, we will beg that indulgence, write your name on a Post-it note, and then otherwise we will send you on your way to this beautiful afternoon. Thank you all so very much for being here, and please give an incredibly warm round of applause to Jen Nelson. Thank you very much.